Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
How are
I'm
you
so
feeling about your
excited.
promotion? You excited?
I am. It's gone so well so far. So I'm really, is this better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's gone great so far. I'm really excited. I have such a good team and such a good leader, of course, in Dina Doyle. So she has helped quite a bit, and
Great.
I am loving it.
Oh, that's so awesome. What got you started?
Well, I've been a customer for 2 years. So
Okay.
right when Amanda Rebecca, I think I was at her launch party, and then I've been buying from Dina since she started selling. So to be honest, I joined because I thought I buy enough nails for myself and my two daughters, and
Right?
might as well, get some discounts here. And I really thought I was too busy to be a stylist, as many people think.
Yeah.
But I mean, since July, it's been fantastic, all from my phone too. So,
That's amazing,
um,
isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So it's more than nails, nails and some extra cash that I didn't actually expect. So I'm thrilled.
Good. I love that. Um, so, all right. So let's talk a little bit about kind of moving forward because it's exciting. You're at the first step in your leadership portion of Color Street, which is awesome. Um, so I know that, of course, you jump in leadership and kind of like when we jump in the business, 100 things are thrown at you, right? Because now you're in new groups and new places to be. So the biggest thing I can tell you is still keep up your personal business. Um, it's at every level we need to keep our personal business up, but I think people jump in that first leadership level and they think they need to, work with their team members constantly. Don't lose your personal business. That still should be the majority of where your time is spent. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So the kind of productive priorities to still think about, as everybody should be, but as a leader, your time should mostly be spent on booking your parties and hostess coaching, then recruiting new people, selling at your parties, and then working with your team. So those are kind of the 5 areas that are income producing for you that make your business go. All right. Um,
Okay.
so so you want to keep up doing what you're doing. So then as a leader, what do you do with your team? You're kind of their first person, their first check-in person. So first, do they all know that you promoted?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Well, yes, I think I actually, that's a good question. I mean, they
Okay.
know from my own page. I know that Dina put something up on my own Facebook group and on the Color Street Sisters page that she runs, not page, group. Um,
So
but
they may or may not.
perhaps, right, right,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to send them all an email, or do you have them all, how do you communicate with them? Are you in a messenger group or anything with them? Or,
No, not yet, because it's really just been growing so much, literally by the week, and it's not just me. I've really only enrolled a few, but just my team has been enrolling so many people. So
right,
I
which is
usually reach
awesome.
out. Yeah, it's great. I usually reach out to people via messenger or email, but I don't. I have to be honest. I don't really have a relationship with all of them yet.
Okay, so that's what I want you to establish right now. So they know, because otherwise, next thing you know, you're senior director and you haven't built relationships with like the first few lines, which are, eventually become your closest lines to you. They seem far right now, but when you get really deep, those are your closest people. So what I would do is send them an email, send everybody an email and say, hey, you guys, I'm super excited. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but just an idea. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I want to let you guys know, due to the hard work of all of you, myself and all of you, because you don't want to discount yourself, I've become a team leader, which means, I'm your first upline leader now. And so what does it mean as me as your first upline leader? It means I'm here to help you. I'm kind of the first in chain of command. If you have a question for one of your upline leaders, I'd be the first person you come to. And seeing I'm new at this, if I don't have the answer, I will go, to my upline to find out. So if you can establish that you're the first upline leader, then people know to go to you now instead of skipping over you and going to Dina. So
Right.
it hurts to get that and you build those relationships with them. And you're not
Okay, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So, two levels down is someone, Ayana Skoda. Now she also was team leader we did within days of each other.
Okay.
So tell me then.
So she's on your team. She's
Correct.
part of your team. Okay. All right. So hopefully we'll tell her to re-watch this so she can hear it too. I want her doing that to her people. And then let's see. I don't know if we've had double like that at the same time in a while. I still want, let's let her create that with her people, but I would still send that whole email. Let's think. Let me think this through. Because I want her to establish that she's the first upline leader there.
Right.
You know what? Let's do you with everybody outside that leg then. And then to her leg, I would send a separate email. To her leg, I would send an email saying, so exciting. Is it Ayana? Is that
Ayana?
Ayana. I would say Ayana and I promoted at the same exact time, so we're both team leaders. So just so you know, she is your first inline team leader, and I'm next. I'm the level above her team leader. So, both of us are here to help you. Something to that nature that they know to go to her. But,
right.
Obviously you're one of their, because eventually, let's say you become a director, then you're their director and she's their team leader, so you do want to establish that you are their leader as well. But maybe just word a little bit different that both of us are your upline leaders. So make sure you go to Ayana first. And, if you're always welcome to come to me as well, something to that nature.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
But definitely, get in touch with those people. So all of a sudden it doesn't get out of control and you're like, holy cow, I'm 6 levels deep and I don't even know my line 2 and my line 3. So the more you get to know them now, the better off you are as your team keeps getting bigger.
Okay.
If they keep building deep, your team's gonna get deep fast. So that's one thing. So some other things to do, figure out if she's kind of building hers. I don't want you guys starting like a Facebook group. Some people jump in, they become team leader, they start another group for their team. There's way too many groups. They already have so many. Is Dina your first upline leader? Or do you have people?
No, I enrolled under her, but then she placed me under Lynn Warrington.
Oh, okay. And she just promoted to director. Okay. Or even senior, was she senior director this month?
No, I think she just promoted to director. Yep.
Yeah, director. Okay. Oh yeah, Haley was senior director. So yeah, even director, I really think people shouldn't start their own separate group till at least senior director, if not even, it could be executive, just because these people already have so many places to go. But what you could do is put them in a messenger group. So what I would do if I were you is I'd talk to Ayana and see how you two want to do it together. Do you two want to do one messenger group with everybody, or does she want to kind of work with her team? You work with her people outside of your team or her team. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she could technically end up becoming your heavy leg. A lot of times you end up getting one person that kind of blows up more than everybody else.
Yes, for sure. Yes. And she's actually my second line too. So she's underneath Amy Paulson too. Okay. So yeah, it's a pretty heavy line already.
Yeah, and that's very, very normal. So, I mean, a lot of people get that. So what you've got to do is start working on balancing your other legs. So that leg never gets completely out of control that you lose pay because that one's so much heavier than everybody else. So the people outside of her leg plus you guys count as everybody, like your own sales count. I don't want to say against her, but as everybody outside of her legs. So you always have to make sure, like if you have to hit your 2,500 in a month, you need to make sure that 1,250 are coming from you and all the people outside her leg.
Right.
Okay. So, so definitely talk with her and see, are you going to build rapport then with the people kind of outside there and let her kind of take her group? Because then technically Lynn would be your director of all you guys. And then, you know, then you have Dina. I mean, so you guys have a lot of leaders in a lot of places. So, you know, I would maybe just start with a messenger group. So you can give them information, check in with them, and just say, hey, I'm going to put us all in a messenger group. That way we can all share ideas. What do you do? What does Lynn do right now?
Lynn started a messenger group.
Okay. And if you're comfortable just staying in Lynn's, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just make sure you establish that relationship with them, that know that you're the first person they can come to. And if you don't know, then you go to Lynn. And it starts to get people thinking that way. So eventually when the team's huge, Lynn doesn't have every single person going to her, and you're establishing your credit as a leader.
Okay.
So then getting on training calls is big, encouraging them to, you know, if you listen to one, then you could say something you learned on it so they know you're getting on them, reminding them of those, especially like our monthly team call. That's a big one. It's only once a month. Or local people going to local meetings. And you getting on all this, of course, helps too, because they see you do it. Obviously, the more they see you doing things, they'll follow through with that for them. You know, so encouraging them to do all that personal development for you and your team is amazing. And it, you know, a lot of it, we know there isn't, sometimes there's not new answers. It's the same topic retold, but it just kind of helps hearing it again. And everybody teaches it different. There's not one topic I hear from anybody that I don't pull one nugget out of there, because I think everybody does it different. So always encourage them to get on those, listen to the replays, you know, when they're out and about doing things. Did you get put on the leader Trello board?
I did. Now, I have to admit, I have not really gone through that at all.
That's okay. So there's not a ton on there, but like I have a sample of a letter you can send out, different things like that. Bubble charts are on there, you know, different things like that. So no worries at all, but just, you know, knowing that it's there. Okay. You know, then you're checking in with them, you're praising them, you're watching them through the month. You know, you're talking to them at the beginning of the month, not just the last day of the month. Kind of trying to get an idea from people. Oh, so what does your month look like this month? You know, who has nail bars, you know, things like that. Yeah. Just encouraging them and sharing.
I've been doing that, you know, individually. I'll just send emails to people too, or some Facebook messages to a lot of the people that I don't know, even, you know, just checking in that way.
That's perfect. Something as your team gets bigger, which it sounds like it's getting big quick, I would make sure too that they kind of know what your work hours are. And I know it seems weird. And I didn't do it at first because we kind of couldn't. We were all hands on deck when we first started, because we only had ourselves. We had no corporate, no type of training. So it was like a 24-hour day job. But now there's enough established now that if they have questions, there's plenty of avenues they could go to get those answered, that it's important for you to say when you know you can work. Do you have another job? I'm assuming, because you said you're busy.
I do, yes.
So what are your hours there?
Well, I'm in sales, so it's flexible, but different every day. I'm in pharmaceutical sales.
Oh, great. Okay. What do you sell? Which drug?
I sell now in the HIV space, so a few different HIV medications.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Not cool drug, but cool job. I know it's changed a lot over the years too.
It's really interesting. Yeah, I love it.
I would imagine. So, you know, you figure out just let them know in the email what the best way to get a hold of you is. Is it, you know what, when you have questions, my job's flexible. If you shoot me a text, I'll get back with you as soon as I can. You know, I know you can reach me if you know, you really need to reach me. I'm available, you know, after 5 o'clock between, you know.
Right.
But you've got to set parameters. I mean, I get messages. I can't leave my phone on silent because I'll get messages all night long. I mean, I have to leave it on silent. There's, I might get something at 11, 12 o'clock at night. Not as much anymore, but I did for a long time. So it just let them know if it's not when I'm set to work, I will get back with you as soon as as soon as I can. But establishing that really is key, because especially in this day and age with instant gratification of texting and stuff, people want an answer and they want it this second.
Right.
So,
that's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. You can really, it'll bog you down really quick when you start getting constant messages. So one thing that I usually talk about in this call, but we did just kind of change it. The Catch the Vision, we used to have the leaders sign up for the Catch the Vision and the Strong Start calls, but now we're trying something new this month where we're pulling them off the calendar and just having recorded ones. So that is not anything anymore that we're going to try. We might go back to it, and then, it's something that we have people sign up for, but you don't have to worry about that. But I feel that Let's Get Started call is key. So now as a new team leader, if you are ready to do the Let's Get Started call, you could take it for any new people on your team. And did you do a Let's Get Started call when you signed up? It's the call where they talk about doing getting a launch party plus 4 more nail bars scheduled.
So I've been friends with Gina for years. So she and I talked a lot before I signed up. So okay. I don't know if it was an official call.
So she informally weaved it into your conversation.
Absolutely. Sure. We sat by the pool one day and went through, I was taking notes. Yeah. So okay. I was pretty up to speed with what I needed to do. Absolutely.
Good. Yeah. Okay. So what you'll do then, it's a script and it's in the Trello page. It's called Let's Get Started. It's literally a script, but it has a lot of really good seeds to plant in the verbiage used. But it gets them to see the benefit when they do Let's Get Launch plus 4. I'm telling you, we've watched people who come in, and I have a video on it too, showing it. If you can watch the Why Launch plus 4 videos, just a few minutes, but it shows the difference to people when they come into business and they just kind of, oh yeah, I've talked to some people, I gave 10 samples out, compared to the person who sets up that initial nail bar for their friends and nail bars with 4 more people. So basically you're doing about 1 a week for your first month, and how they get with 10 people, then that party leads to 2 more parties, which is 10 people at each of those parties. And how your numbers grow so much quicker than if you're just out there putting samples on people. And so kind of in that call, we're basically getting them, to try in that first month, if they can get a launch party plus 4 more nail bars, then they typically are going to hit Jumpstart. They typically are working on building the business, because they're trying to get people signed up, and they tend to feel better about going into their next nail bar. Their confidence is boosted, and they start off stronger, and they tend to stay longer than the person who just randomly does it and then says, I'm not good at this, I can't do it, but they never really gave it a try. So I usually say to people in that call, it's worth, even if this isn't something you want to keep up, try doing a nail bar a week for your first 5 weeks, and then decide if that's what you want to keep doing. But this call talks to them about that. So what I would do with your team is say, if you guys are signing up new people, please let me know. So either you, or make sure Lynn's doing them. Make sure you guys that they call and get a Let's Get Started call. Everybody won't do it, I promise you, they won't. But the more people we catch, the better off we are getting more people started on the good leg, and we really see their teams grow faster. So figure out if you're comfortable doing it. Look over the script. Again, it's a phone call, and so you definitely don't want to change it too much, because like I said, there's there's verbiage in there. It's very strategically written by a trainer. But definitely as you're talking, you don't want to sound like you're reading it. So you work at it how it feels comfortable in your language. So that's a key. That's a big key as a team leader, of figuring out who's going to do that call. And if Lynn isn't doing them, sometimes team leaders aren't comfortable doing them. So now as a director, she should be doing them. So we'll make sure she's doing them, if you're not ready for them, and that's fine. And you can get on a 3-way and listen to her.
Sure. No, I don't mind doing them at all. I'll have to go through the script, but I
Yeah, it's
You know,
really easy.
right. No, I'm not, that doesn't bother me. That sounds
Yeah,
good.
I would think in the sales you're doing, this is a heck of a lot less intimidating.
Yes, no
Um,
problem.
Another nice thing about team leader is now you'll get benefits, leads. So the system will generate leads to people in the area. If someone goes in and says they're looking for somebody, they will find somebody in the area in that zip code with the highest sales at team leader and between team leader and senior director. So you could get an email with a company lead. So just make sure if you get that, you follow up with the person, obviously. I try to call if I can. I don't get them anymore at my level, but when I was getting them, a lot of them were fake. They were people putting their own zip code to see who would pull up.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know,
And
I
actually, you know, I live in Riverview too, so I might be, I mean, I've had really high sales the last couple of months, but you know, I live down the street from Dina and Amanda Rebecca.
right.
So,
Yeah.
so I may not get that first call.
Well, but Dina won't be, Dina's excluded from it as executive.
Oh, okay, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
we ended up, everybody could get them team leader, not before, but corporate made a decision, you know, we want to help team leader to senior director, help get them up to executive level. So that's why they're
Right.
keeping them between those ranks. So just, you know, just know that if you get 10 of them, you might have really good ones, but they may not pan out.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
and then the other thing, you know, is strategic placing. Now you get to, if you have somebody that you sign up, you are enrolled, you are able to place them with somebody else.
Yep.
And this can be a great thing, and this can be sticky. It really can. We've been trained a couple different ways on doing it because there's not a lot of companies out there that do it. And so there's not a lot of known research. So my best advice first is talk to your upline before you place anybody right now. Definitely don't place somebody without having another set of eyes on it.
Yep, sounds good.
I try to look at some different things. I try to look at, will this help my business? Does it make sense? And is it someone in Michigan that but it's going to help me promote, but I'm going to put them with someone in New York? Well, that's not fair to that person. If my team is mostly in Michigan and I send one of my girls to a person in New York, just so I can promote, I don't know, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's fair to have their upline in another state just for your own benefit. You know, so I look at that. I look at location, but that's not to say if I get someone from New York, a random person from New York, I'm not putting them with somebody in Michigan. I'm pulling them into our area because I have a bunch of people in that area. But if I have somebody else I could put a person with in their area, I would do that, you know, before just putting them with someone for me to promote. Typically, in the long run, you can end up making the most money if you keep them in your first couple lines. The deeper you put them, you end up losing money. So what if you put them at level 5 and they end up becoming an executive and all 4 of their uplines are executives? Eventually you would make nothing on them.
Right.
Because that would be your 5th generation and you don't go that deep in generations. So that's way down the road, but just so you know. So I try to think of location. I try to think, am I putting them with a person who's going to make it less work for me? If I'm putting them with somebody who's not working the business, then it's going to be just as much work for me. You know, we had a lot of problems at the beginning of people kind of filling empty buckets, meaning they just kept placing people with people who didn't want to work the business. So that's kind of pointless. And that's become where it's more about you than about really the best thing for that person. So you really have to look at everything about the process before you do it. You know, does it make sense for everybody? If it's a person who's working the business and they just haven't been able to talk to anybody, that's great. You know, if they haven't had any luck, you know, but the biggest thing to know is this: no matter how you place them, no matter what they say to you, you have a 50% chance that it's going to be great, a 50% chance that it's not. You have a 50% chance of them quitting. And the person who said, yeah, put them with me, that's great. And they may never do anything again, and they could drop out 2 months later. So you've got to know when you put that person, You can never resent the person you put them with because they don't owe you anything for it, really. But so I always try to reach the people out. I don't just put a person with somebody else either without making sure both people connect. And I tell that new person, you know, just so you know, we have something called strategic placing, which means I have the ability to put you with somebody else so you have two of us to work with instead of just me. Like for me, that's huge because there is nobody. If I enroll somebody, there is no one else but me because I'm direct to corporate. So I really am offering them a benefit by giving them somebody else to work with. Then when they come to a meeting, they're with somebody else, not just with me. It just makes sense. So just making sure you connect both of them. And always keep in touch with that enroller no matter what. You're not putting them with them just to drop them.
Right, right.
So making sure that they know that because obviously they're signing up with you for a reason.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay, so do you know how to fill out like the bubble charts?
No.
Okay, so that is something else I would start doing. It's the old way that we had to, before the system computed where we were in rank, we used to have these charts and they're on Trello and there's one for team leader. I would print a team leader one every month and a director one because that's your next level of leadership. And you'll see how you fill in where people are. Like you're at the top, then you fill in your next two people or your next three people and then two people. Sometimes you have to add extra bubbles because if you have 5 across, it only shows 3 across. But what it does, it helps you understand where your people are. The computer computes it, but for example, the computer would say, like for director, you're 93% there. And it might say you have a team leader, a bonus qualified leg, and a senior stylist. Okay, great. Well, you're missing one senior stylist. So all of a sudden or let's say it says you have 2 senior stylists and 2 bonus qualified legs. Well, all of a sudden when that senior stylist pops up to team leader, you're still missing a senior stylist because it moved one from one place to the other. And people don't understand it from the computer. So when you write your chain out and you see where everybody is, you're going to understand our comp plan better. And you're going to be able to.
Yeah, no, I love the graphical view. So I look at that every multiple times a day.
Yes.
It's a little obsessive. But no, I get it. That someone jumps up to team leader and then I lose that senior stylist. So I have to get it from a different leg. Yep, got it.
Yep. So just make sure. And then if you fill out director, your next level up, you'll know where your holes are, where you need to fill in.
Yes.
So
I know I was close. So it's like 80-some%, but I needed another senior stylist on a different leg. So I don't know if I'll get it this month or I doubt it. It'll take a little bit, but we'll get there.
Right. And as you see, every month we all start over to 0. Every month we're rebuilding again, right? So if something happens, like if you didn't hit team leader this month, you lose that ability to place. So you're coming up and it's the last day of the month and you don't have to place anybody till next month, but you know you're not going to hit team leader, you better place them if you want to place them because you'll lose it.
Okay.
And then if let's say you hit team leader midway through November, you don't get to just start placing. You can't place until you would hit it in November and they run commission in December. So
noted
for the whole month. So be careful on that. Someone just got caught on that last month.
Okay.
Those are really the main things I like to talk to you about. Do you have questions for me?
You know, I feel like I don't know what I don't know yet. Really. I think my struggle, if you will, is enrolling people where, I mean, obviously the success can be great. I see it, and I see it in myself. I see it in some of my teammates. I see it in a lot of the people who became stylists well before me that I know really well. So, I mean, the potential can be huge.
Yes.
But when you look also at the, I think a graphic I saw recently came out about the average stylist in each different level, sort of what they make on average, right?
Right.
That is way different than what I've been experiencing, because my success has been a lot more than sort of that average list, which is great. I just have trouble, I think, when I'm trying to recruit someone too, that I have to let them know that the success I've had is not necessarily typical, but it's been simple for me. I just feel like there are some people who are interested, and I already know them personally, right? I see that they don't have a huge network of people online. They don't have a huge online presence, and they think that they're going to just start selling on their Facebook group, and they haven't really built that up yet. They're hardly on posting anything now. So why would someone buy from them when all of a sudden they start a group? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I feel I feel like I have a struggle with people see that, yes, I've had all this great success and I love it. And there could be more, right? You can put more time into this and it can be fantastic. But I sort of struggle with what reality might be, what average might be, and sort of not giving people a false expectation of what they're going to see. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does, because I found for a while there, I was so excited at my success, like that's what I was giving to people.
Right.
But
right.
I found it also turned them off because it was too intimidating to them. So you can let them know the success is there, but you really need to meet people at the level they're at, which most people, they're just trying to maybe pay. I mean, I remember even the woman who had signed me up, the vice president at the time, said to me, I can't wait for you to make $10,000 in a month. I'm like, $10,000 in a month? I'd be happy with 1,000. Right. I mean, I didn't even think that amount. So I wouldn't have signed up because I thought I could have made $10,000 in a month. My goal was I couldn't wait to make 1,000. So you got to almost backtrack to, you can tell them there's potential, but don't dwell on it anyway, because it almost turns them off. You need to dwell on what kind of almost what those averages are. And then if they see above that, then it's even more exciting. But you don't even have to give them the averages. You find out more when you're talking to them what their goals are and what they're looking for. Some people might say, I just want, I need about extra $500 a month. It's interesting what people, what their financial needs are is to what they're trying to pay off. Some might need $50 a month and they just need a little side something for $50 a month. Like originally I was geared more towards just trying to kind of establish something for myself. Because my kids were older and whatever, they were kind of I was done with all my volunteer things and whatever. And I thought I want to make money, but I was thinking maybe if I could pay some of my daughter's dance bills, that's kind of what my thought was, or, have extra shopping money, whatever. I didn't necessarily have these big.
Exactly. That's sort of how I've been too. Like, this will be nice if I get some extra out of the gig, but we'll see.
But then all of a sudden when you're getting more than what you thought, you're like, wow, I can actually do a lot with this money that I had no intention. I was fine without it, but once you have it, there's of course things you can do with it.
Right. Exactly.
So, I've stopped focusing on, I'll say there's huge potential with this business, of course, but I don't bring a lot of that up unless it's asked, because I find it turns more people off than actually attracts them. So I would, if you saw, I did a live today just on kind of steps you can do, like messaging, like how you message somebody, following up with them. And really when you follow up with them, let them do the questioning. And that way you're going to be able to figure out. Now, sometimes I have someone, and Lynn was one of those people I talked to at the very beginning. I think I did her Let's Get Started call, or talked to her pretty quick after that. She knew she wanted to build a business with this. So someone like that, I am more candid with them. And I become more honest, and I'll say, I'm telling you, there is 100%, there is possibilities with this. I know there are people in the company making $80,000 a month, and they are not people who have been there from the beginning. They're people who joined after it started. The potential's there. If you want to know the answer is selling and sponsoring, period. You've got to sell, you got to sponsor. And so, you know, I am more frank, but to your average person I'm talking to who that's too far for them to picture, I don't bring that up.
Right. Okay.
So
that's
I don't
helpful.
know. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I just struggle when people are struggling with coming up with $150 to pay for the kit.
Yes.
Then I'm thinking, oh my goodness, then I feel guilty, right? So if they put this money out, I mean, I could make mine back in 10 days at 150. You know, I didn't think about that at all. But I know if people are struggling for that outlay of cash, my gosh, I hope they're. I feel like they should have all these calls before they join, right? Like they should really plan and do that launch +3.
Yes, that before. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
why if you can get them on before they even sign up.
Yes.
The 2 gals that I had nail bars with last week were people who are debating doing it. Neither of them have $150 to spend. Same thing.
Right.
And so I did the whole thing. I offered them business before I posted their link, and I said, and they're like, both of them, I just don't have the $150 to spend. I said, you realize the goal with your nail bars to get it to a minimum of 300, you'd be making $75 with that. And then, you know, hopefully, oftentimes what I have found that, you know, if you got to watch how you word it too. And I didn't say this to this person, but they can, if they pay for it with a credit card and they do that launch +4, if they have, you know, 3 or 4 nail bars all scheduled, they can typically pay off the credit. They have the money to pay it back before the bill cycle comes back around. So,
and that makes sense. Like I understand that, you know, but that's a hard thing when I think, I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. And it's hard to relate when that's not your situation.
Right. So I just hate to make any claims, even though it was very simple for me to make that back pretty immediately. I just think, my gosh, if they don't, then here they are out that money and they're struggling to get a few orders.
Well, and then what they can also do is sell off those nail strips. There's enough in that kit. If they straight up sell the nail strips, they'll make their money back.
Yeah, especially this month, for sure.
Right. So they should be able to make their money back and you tell them that, you know, if you work your business and if you follow my plan to success, you should be able to make your money back within the first 4 weeks easily if they're doing a nail bar a week. Now, part of that success also is not just the nail bar then, it is, are they hostess coaching? So that's where your job as their team leader comes in of, okay, so after the Let's Get Started call, you're going to check in with them again to see when they have dates. Then you would call them before their nail bar, the day before and the day after. And by doing that, what happens is by the day before, you're talking through any anxiety, anything. The day after, she can tell you the things that went great and the things that she felt uncomfortable about. And that way you're working through issues right as they happen. So she's ready to go do her next nail bar and hopefully find improvement by, you know, maybe she didn't offer the business. Maybe she, I don't know, didn't put samples on people. Who knows? Maybe she didn't bring up buy 3, get 1 free. You know, it's rare you have an in-home party. I don't know if I've ever had an in-home party less than 300. My Facebook parties can be, but, you know, so I always like encouraging them to have people in person if they can. But so part of that plan for success is not just scheduling their stuff, but teaching them what to do with it. You know, that hostess coaching for the 4 people that set up nail bars with them is key. So, you know, when you sign up a new person, it's a lot of work at the front end, but if you can get them going in the right way, and some people need work, as you know, more than others.
Sure.
Some people, it comes way more naturally, but that front end helps them just move more successfully. Then you're kind of coaching and guiding as they have things along the way, instead of, you know, the person who does 1 nail bar and then 4 months later they do another one and then they're scared to and they don't know how to do it. If they do it all at the beginning, they've really learned a lot at the beginning and they just are ready to move.
Right. Okay.
So I know it is hard. The whole costing is hard, but that's what we're here. I see so many of these people at conference, and it blows my mind because a lot of people, I guarantee you, were in that position.
Mm-hmm.
And they have made their money back and they have done a great job at this. But
right.
I would take the words simple and easy out of a conversation with somebody too, because
mm-hmm.
Yes, it's I can tell you that it's, you sell and sponsor. The formula is a simple formula, but it doesn't mean it's simple to do and it's easy to do for everybody.
Right.
So you don't want to set them up for failure if things get rough. So it is a business, and starting any business is hard, to some extent, but it is a fun business, and, it's different than other businesses.
Right. Okay.
So
well, that's
anything
helpful.
else?
I don't think so right now.
Okay.
I know I need to go through the Trello charts, or Trello board, and but that was helpful too, since Ayana hit team leader, right at the same time. I'll sort of craft two different messages to the team based on hers as well. Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, I think we have a leader call next Monday. So hopefully I will see you next Monday. And where do you live?
I'm in Riverview.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said that. So maybe I'll see you.
I live across the street from Dina.
Okay. Maybe I'll see you at the next month's meeting then.
Oh, yes. I went. I couldn't make it last month. I was out of town for work, but I may come next week. I think it's next week or 2 weeks from now or
next
something.
Thursday. Yep.
Okay. Sounds
Perfect.
good. All right. Thanks, Debbie. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. Sure.
Okay. All right. Take care.
See ya. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.